All right, guys, as promised, I'm doing the video on footwork in the golf swing. We're going to use Tiger as an example in this case, and I'm going to use a typical student so you see the mistakes that are commonly made. So first we're going to see how to do it right, then we're going to see how people, excuse me, tend to do it wrong. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you a link to a video where I teach you exactly how to learn this exact same footwork that you're going to see in Tiger. And all you need to learn it is a pair of socks. But first, if you like this video and you like the videos that you've seen so far, click the like button and subscribe down below. It really helps us out and share the message of Rotary Swings. We teach people how to swing properly. So now what I want to do is I'm going to put a line on the outside of the right foot. In the bonus video, this is one of the things I talk about is if you imagine a vertical plane line on the outside of the right shoe, this will be really helpful in understanding how your footwork is working correctly or incorrectly in the swing. Now, I use that term footwork just because it's commonly accepted as a term in the golf swing, but quite frankly, I feel that it's very misused. It's not really footwork at all. It's actually your body working correctly. And as you'll see this in Tiger's swing, when the body works correctly, the feet show up as symptoms of when the body's moving correctly or incorrectly. So rather than thinking about footwork, it's more body work. It's lower body work, it's core work, it's trunk work, it's sequencing, and the feet are just really symptoms of that. But we're going to use the term footwork just because that's what most people think of. So the first thing we're going to talk about as we start down, and I'm going to zoom in here and just focus on the face-on view first, and just focusing in on the lower, the feet themselves. So I don't care about the rest of the swing right now. Now note, the first thing you're going to notice is that as I talk about in the bonus video, the right heel, the trail leg heel, actually moves in toward the left. Now a lot of people, again, misassociate this with actually actively moving the feet. And as I explain in the video and I demonstrate, that's not true at all. And because it would cause you to lose your posture, to lose your tush line. So if you're the type of golfer who stands up at impact and can't maintain your spine angle, you're probably pushing from the right leg. And I've talked about that a great deal. In fact, there's a video specifically on it called how you lose your posture on the website. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to see that, because it'll help you understand if you're losing the tush line, this is exactly what's causing it. So what's really happening here is that Tiger's actually moving from the lead side, and that is pulling the foot in towards the left. It's pulling the right ankle in towards the left. You can use a little bit of active motion there, but the tendency again is for you to lose your posture if you do that. So really what most golfers need to focus on is just using that lead leg, sitting into that left side like I talk about in the step 2 of the transition of the dead drill, and that will move the foot over. And you'll notice that the right heel, as weight continues to move over to the left and the hips begin to rotate, that pulls the foot further away from that plane line. And so you can see that Tiger's foot would never ever break that plane line. Now, as you'll see with a student in a moment, you're going to see the exact opposite. And this is very, very common when golfers don't use their lower body in their swings at all, and they use just their arms and hands, and they don't load up their body correctly in the swing. They don't shift, they can't use their left side, they can't use their left leg and left hip to bring the weight over. And so you're going to see the opposite happening here. And one of the things I talk about a lot with rotary swing, especially with iron play, is keeping that right heel low to the ground, keeping it on the ground typically when you're trying to hit more controlled shots, because it limits the amount of hip rotation that you can have, keeps you from spinning out, helps you maintain your posture, etc. It's okay for that heel to come up if it's getting pulled up, or you're pushing right at the very end to stabilize the pelvis, which is what Tiger's doing here as he's pushing up. But you can tell there's not a lot of weight on there. He can't actually push that hard, or the toe box of his shoe, this little part of his shoe right here, would really crease, because you would see a lot of stress on that shoe if he was able to push hard off that foot. It's just, again, indicative that the vast majority of his weight is already on the lead side, so you can't really push that hard off the right foot if there's not that much weight over there. So now let's take a look at a typical mid or low handicap golfer swing, but most all handicap golfers make these same mistakes, and I'm going to show you what causes it, and then in the end I'm going to show you the bonus video on how to fix this in your house right now to learn perfect footwork. And all you need, a pair of socks. All right, now let's take a look at the typical amateur golfer. Now, this is a student of mine I did during the road show, and he's actually a really good golfer. I can't remember what his handicap was. You guys can go back and watch it. Maybe he's probably like mid-single digits or something, if I remember correctly. But you're going to see the opposite, and this is the reason I share this after showing what the pros do, is because this is super, super common. You're going to start to see and understand the things that lead up to it. So let me walk you back to the top of his swing. You can see right away this right arm folds immediately. Now, this is obviously a big piece of rotary swing. We talk about keeping that right arm straight for as long as humanly possible, obviously within reason. And the reason is when you get really narrow like this, you no longer have to turn because you're loading up the wrong muscles in the wrong sequence. So right now, his right tricep, arms, shoulders are getting really loaded up. And so, of course, guess what's going to fire first? All arms and hands. Now, he tries to make up for it with a massive amount of wrist set to try and maintain some lag because he can't use his body for power at all. And so what you'll see as he comes down, notice obviously I drew a line, vertical plain line I draw on the right foot, and now notice where his right heel busts outside of that line. And this is just the old school no body movement, hang back on the right side, push with the right hand, flip it, scoop it, chicken wing it, and have no power. So this swing is insanely timing dependent. So when I worked on his swing with him, if you go back and watch that roadshow, we really started working on keeping the width in his backswing so his body is forced to turn and maintaining, the use of his body, starting to learn how to use his body. And of course, that will lead to getting that right, the footwork right in the swing. But this is really, really common when you see that right heel breaking out on that plane line. And so this is what I wanted you to see as a typical student. All right, so hopefully this will help you out with understanding that footwork is really just a byproduct of how your lower body is moving throughout the swing. And what I want to share with you next is a video that is reserved for my premium members. Sorry, I keep the good stuff for my paying members, of course, but I promise you, if you follow what I show you in that video, that you will understand how to have a powerful lower body movement in the swing, that your feet will begin to work correctly in the swing. You'll have beautiful footwork and finally understand where balance really comes from in the swing. So click the link you see up on the screen or down in the description below. It'll take you to the video where you can sign up and you can watch this video where I share with you a drill that literally all you need is a pair of socks to learn perfect footwork in the golf swing.